In this video, we're going to finally put down the Helmsman Spar Urethane made by Minwax. This one's the water-based version. I initially started out by talking about using a rag to applicate, but unfortunately this is probably not what you want because it will spur off little fuzzies. You don't want fuzzies. So what we're going to do is we're going to dump this in a bucket. This you can get at the dollar store. And then I'm going to use this rag. This is 100% cotton rag. Make sure you wear gloves and an N95. This stuff is milky. And this cover is, I don't even know if it's made out of metal anymore. Some sort of almost plastic like. You can see it's very white. So since I'm not very good at pouring, what I decided to do, in case I have spillage, I'm going to put it on the rag. So here we go. Make sure the bucket's clean. And I don't never done this before, so okay, so I only poured a little bit, you can see, and my goal is to use this and then come back and use the rest, but I don't think I'll need all of it, so make sure I seal it up. It's a hot day, it's probably 70 something, 80 degrees out. The next step is we're going to cut this rag into small pieces. This is a cutting table. It's ironic, isn't it? So we're actually coating a cutting table. This is used for industrial fabrication. And the table is really for a spreader. And then it'll be used for cutting. So I'm just making a couple of these. Probably don't need a whole lot. Okay. We'll put the rest away. And then make sure you get any of the fibers out. Shake these out. Alrighty, here we start. So they recommend using a brush, but I don't think you need a brush. So I'm just gonna, I've never done this before, but I'm gonna use this. I did try it on a sample piece of wood, and it seems to work. So what I'm doing is I'm just lightly cutting it, touching it, and then I'm gonna go in one direction. You probably can't see this, but we're just gonna lightly applying it. And you know, this is the same as a brush in my opinion. And the idea is just to apply really light coats. And then go back over it. Get the excess off. And go fast. You want to focus on light coats, because the goal here is not really, the goal is not to really dump a lot, but just, you know, you're just literally a light, fast coat. The more layers, the better. At this point, my technique is not very good. And the fibers from the fabric will come off. So you gotta be, maybe fold it. But go fast. We have this huge table to do. If this fails, I will use the brush. But so far it's seeming to work. I'm just going back over a spot that I thought didn't get covered. But you have to keep in mind that their goal here is just to waterproof. So you're probably not, you don't need to put a lot of layers on. You will see these streaks, so I don't really honestly know how it would be any different with a brush. I do have a brush. I have a Purdy brush, but from what I read, is a lot of people were getting bubbles. So I just chose to use a rag. Because I want to make sure that this is very smooth and flat. And with the rag, it's my opinion that you can keep it flat. I don't even know where my brush is. So this is the brush I bought. It's a Purdy white bristle. I'll keep it out just in case, but oh, one thing I needed to tell everybody is after I sanded it the first time, I went back over and re-coated it with the gel stain, because I don't recommend sanding because it's going to ruin the surface. So there's 5 coats of stain on this thing. Five coats of gel stain. Just try to keep it even. The nice thing I like about the rag is you can go right over. They say in the commercial, or sorry, in the video for Minwax, is to apply it and then go back over the wet spot. Always go back over the wet spot. I think that's what they mean. So maybe go like this, then go back over the wet spot. Apply it and then go back over the wet spot. So I'm just going back over the wet spot. What's probably really important is your technique. So what I'm developing is I'm developing streaks, and the streaks are because I'm using a rag. So I don't know. You want to try to be straight. What they need to do is they tell you to apply it and then go back over the wet spot. Go back over the wet. So far, no bubbles. Just streaks. It's coming on really nicely. It does create a little streak. And honestly, I don't know what to do about that. But what we'll do here, it's a $16 brush. But I spent way more money into this table that I'll just go ahead and show you guys. So again, I'm just making sure there's no excess. What's nice about this rag is you can flatten it out. You're definitely, you're going to be flattening it out. And there'll be no excess. See, it dries really fast. I'm running into problems with the fiber of the we got some fiber in the wood. Okay, so that's annoying. Okay, got it all out. But just make sure when you're using the rag that you don't use the edge that the threads are. So what we'll do, we'll go ahead and bust open the brush so you guys can see the brush. It's a $16 brush. And what we're going to do is we're going to lightly dip it. Okay, so let's go ahead and do what they said, which is, see, that picks up too much. So in my opinion, that's too thick. And it's okay to do these back and forth streaks. But my opinion, again, is this is way too thick. So I can see what people are having. They're having bubbles. Plus it creates streaks. I don't honestly know. So, I'm just gonna go back over it. What it does is it creates a hair streaks. So, the brush creates hair streaks. Whereas the rag, it's pretty flat. And you can see the grain. I think with the rag, you can see what's underneath. And I think with the brush, you wind up seeing streaks. So if you choose a rag, make sure you get all of the fiber stuff out. I'll go ahead and try one more time with the brush. Here we go. Apply it this way. You just want a thin coat. I don't know. I think you could go either way, but the brush does create streaks. It's very evident. The brush is a little easier to use. If you're going to use a brush, just go really fast and really smooth. You won't get bubbles. Oh, see, the brush also fibers come out. So either way, so honestly, I don't know how people got bubbles. They must have been putting on too much. And it's okay to go back and forth. For me, this is just a cutting table. It doesn't have to look great, but I don't want bubbles. So I'll probably just stick to the brush.